All right, y'all. I may have done a goof. Now, mind you, I've never had a billet block, so I really don't know where some of the oil sources are on the block itself. Sorry, it's really cold in here. I know it looks like I'm smoking or vaping, but I'm not doing that. Today is about the turbo again. So, it does not have shaft play now. All right? No shaft play like it did the other day. Or was it 2 days ago? I'm not sure when I did it. So before, I had the oil source coming off this section right here, which is the same spot on the other side of the block that I use for my, the oil pressure sensor, which it gives me the pressure. So this particular port on this block, on the billet block, I don't know if that's what is supposed to be a good oil source. I'm assuming it would have been, but I just obviously took off that, set it down to a cup, and then seeing if the cup would just fill up with oil, how quick it would fill, to see what type of oil pressure it was getting. So I put it in the cup, started the car just for a few seconds, took out, and there's only like 1 or 2 drops. Wasn't that much, but there was oil coming through it. So I don't know if that's part of like the oil drain from the head down to the block, maybe something for a dry sump system, like some type of scavenging section for that, or maybe it pumps. I don't know what that could be, but I don't know if it was enough to supply oil to this, because I went ahead and ran my traditional, or not traditional, but off of the oil filter housing like I normally have done in the past, to the filter, and then put that in here. And I started up the car, and this little whining that I would have for a second went away, got out. Turbo's not spinning, but there's no shaft. I mean, it's spinning, but usually whenever you get out of the car, it just keeps spinning until, you almost had enough time to go and take it out, do all that stuff. But I went ahead and checked it, and there's no shaft play. None whatsoever. So, I don't know if, I'm guessing, okay, everyone knows that I'm the one that, admits whenever I did something wrong or when someone else did something wrong, as far as pretty much anything goes on my build. I'm just wondering if I caused any irreparable damage to the turbo to where, it was my fault and I shouldn't be running it anymore. However, there was a little bit of oil, and I know those restrictor valves that are, built in the turbo there, I know sometimes those can, they don't allow too much pressure to go in the first place. So I know it was getting oil, because I'd take off the bottom of the oil drain into the tube when I was messing with the oil pan, which, by the way, the oil pan is completely saturated with oil again. I don't even want to get, anyway, that's a whole nother topic when it comes to, the Moroso style oil pans, but it's not a good topic. I'll get on that as soon as I get in my new oil pan. I'll be having modified with the OEM. That's probably going to be the best bet. But, so the drainage that goes into the oil pan, that was getting oil. So I don't know if it's just not enough oil pressure or just not enough oil at all. I'm not really sure, but whenever the oil filter housing supply that I just did, running like, all the way through there and all the way back to the oil filter housing, I put that in a cup and cranked it over, and that motherfucker damn near halfway filled up. So I know that's getting way more pressure than what that turbo was getting. I'm just on hope that I didn't get too much damage to it. But if you look inside there, you can kind of see where the compressor was hitting, or the compressor wheel was touching that. It's not much, but with the amount of shaft play that I was getting before, or not the amount of shaft play that I had the other day when I found it, that just makes me think that the turbo has irreparable damage. But it's good now, but I don't know how long. I never once had an issue with my Borg Warner EFR 8374 that I had before, that had 105,000 miles. Never had an issue with, obviously, that whatsoever, beside the exhaust turbine not able to handle the pressure or whatever when it exploded and went out the side exit exhaust. So, like I said, I'll admit when I may have done something wrong, but I couldn't find any write-up on what port was for what off of this engine, so I tried to stick with the much is the same, and the only one thing that I made that may have been a mistake was this one. The oil pressure switch on the back, that one gets oil pressure. So I figured this one on the front would be, applicable amount of pressure, to get to the turbo. So I may have been the one that messed up my turbo, and I don't think Borg Warner's at fault for this, but I'm about to take it for a drive. Hopefully the drive will tell me some good news. But yeah, there's nothing worse than knowing that you were the one that may have caused an issue and cost yourself. I think I got that turbo for $1,600. No one likes to be the person for their own financial mistake, but let's just hope that this turbo has a little bit more life, and at least to last me until Zonrotor gets their 8 to 12 week back order on their ultra high flow turbos. When I found out that this turbo was possibly bad, well, I thought it was bad at the time, I went ahead and ordered the Zonrotor UX ultra high flow, UHX ultra high flow 9569S. Went ahead and ordered that with an open T4 housing. Now, I'm really kind of worried about the casting on that particular housing because the casting didn't look that great. I know it's just a standard cast iron, so it's going to have to be coated. But I have a divided T4 into, twin wastegates. So I don't know. I just prefer to run twin scroll fully divided, but at the same time, the way the ultra high flow exhaust turbine is, one blade's offset. And since it's offset, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of evenly putting the pulses into the turbo. So I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I did get the 0.81 housing. There's a guy, I believe on that racing channel, he has one running, I believe it's 1,100 horsepower on that turbo. I just want a turbo to be able to handle some shaft speed and be able to pump out some big boost, because if my engine's capable of running a lot of boost, I want to be able to do it. That's where I believe I can get majority of the power. But if I get a turbo that keeps overspinning, that's a whole separate issue of its own. But it's just the only open T4 is not stainless. I prefer stainless housings. I'm pretty sure everybody else does. But that only T4 open, it's that ugly gray cast iron. And I looked at the pictures, and it just looks like, even on the exhaust turbine section where it kind of gets pretty close to the hole where the exhaust turbine spins inside the housing, it even looked like chunky, like they hadn't machined it down. It almost looked like a completely raw piece of cast iron. So I'm hoping the quality of that is a lot better by the time when I actually get the product. So that's really the only thing. I hope I don't have to do much with the exhaust as far as the V-band goes, because I know some V-bands are taller or shorter. Mine has the female, the male in, mating surfaces, whatever. Those are so much better for aligning your exhaust. I'm hoping that, those will be the same. I won't have to change that. But if I have to just cut it off right there you can kind of see it at the turbo itself. If I have to cut that off, then let's go. Actually, I'm sure I can get a better picture. No, I can't. So hopefully I won't have to cut that off and get another one welded on there, or have my friend Anthony do it. He's the one that does majority of the welding for me, and he's the best around here as far as I'm aware. There's a couple other good ones, but he's my boy, that's for sure. But so this turbo may have a little bit more life than I initially thought the other night, and I may have jumped to the conclusions, but like I said, I'm the first to admit where I probably fucked up. If someone from, Bullet Engineering or anyone else that has ran a billet block can tell me what that one right there's the one that I ran it off of. If anyone can tell me exactly what that particular port is for, you'd answer my question pretty quick. And I'll admit my fault, that's for sure. So either way, the other turbo is going to be going. I know these can't handle the type of boost pressure that I plan on putting through this. Like I said, this turbo's on gate pressure, which is 40 to 42 psi. I think what Cody at Redline said it was 42. But that was the minimum setting to possibly do with, you know, not going crazy with shaft speed or anything like that. So I think that's gonna be fine. And like I said, I'm about to go take this for a drive, and I just hope it's running a lot better. I hope the oil, you know, gets in there. But like I said, usually when you run something low, even with an oil restrictor valve, it still requires a little bit of pressure, that's for sure. And I may have been the one that damaged my own turbo. So I'm gonna kick myself in the gut for that, or wherever else I can possibly kick. I think it'd be impossible to do that, but wish me luck, everybody. See you.